Welcome back, everybody, to Train Tuesday. I'm your host, Jim Wiggin, and we took a vacation last week, or at least we did from the show. But don't worry, we're going to still cover everything in the July announcements. And just as a reminder, that does close this Friday, the 30th. So if there's anything that we've talked about this past week, you're going to want to talk to your hobby dealer and go ahead and order those. And I know those surf liners are going to be very popular, and probably those MT4 steam locomotives. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's see who we got out there and do some shout outs real quick. I've got Bradley, George, Mark, Joel, Gordon. Looks like I've got Mark and David, Rick, Kevin. Kevin's coming all the way from Fort Wayne, Indiana. We got Michael and Joseph. So we're getting a full house today. Joel's happy his Chessie GP7 is on its way. Yeah, those are really nice locomotives. I missed out on those. We've also got Kyle coming in from Montana, and Johnny, Idaho Railfan. Welcome aboard. Matt, Austin, Cody, and Ray. Hey, thanks everybody for showing up today. Hey, you probably noticed the studio looks a little different. We've got some new changes here at Athearn that we're doing, and I think you're going to be happy with what we're doing. We're trying to up the production value of our videos for you so that you can enjoy these even more, and they're not just a source of information, but just a source for you to be more educated about our products and to hear more from you as well. So a few more shout outs. I've got Mike coming from the UK, and we got Terry, Robert, Tony, Ian, BN Green 1970, Joel, Kyle. So we got a full house today. This is great. I'm glad you guys could come on board. A couple of things I want to share with you today, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. The first thing we're going to talk about is the Roundhouse extended height boxcars, plug door boxcars. Now, you've heard me say it before, and I'll say it again. The Roundhouse cars, they're not going to be as detailed as the Ready to Roll or the Genesis, but they still fill a really important need. One of those needs is if you're a part of a modular club and you go out on the road a lot. We're going to start doing more shows here pretty soon. You might not want to take your more detailed freight cars to these meets or to these shows. Things happen. And these are a great economical source for you to capture the look that the crowds at a train show are wanting to see, but not putting as big of a dent in your pocketbook. So definitely, let's take a look at these. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see. And these are the ones, these are going to be available until the end of the month. And we've got a really good selection. Check this one out here. This is good until 2006. And like I said, the range on these is pretty much from the 1970s right up until modern day. We tried to give you guys a nice range. We know there's guys out there that model the 80s and the 90s. So we wanted to go ahead and satisfy your needs for those eras. So this is our first one right here. The Arkansas-Oklahoma Railroad. And then the next one we've got, here we go, modern. Doesn't get any more modern than this, BNSF. This is 2006 plus. These are markings that would be indicative from a 2006 on up. Now going back to 1978, we have the Columbia and Cowlitz. Perfect for you guys that are doing late 1970s or into the 1980s. Check this out. Now we're going to jump all the way to 2001 with the Co Railroad Incorporated Company. Now, one thing I do want to mention with these are available in 3 different road numbers each. So for each railroad that I'm showing you, there's 3 separate road numbers for each car. Now we got some special ones coming up. The GATX, we got a couple of different paint schemes on these. These are really cool paint schemes. These are good for 2020 on up. These are pretty as modern as you're going to get. We got this paint scheme here, and we've also got this paint scheme here. So if you're doing modern industrial railroading, or if you've got a section on a larger layout that requires these type of box cars, these are perfect for that. Or if you just want to amass a large freight train, these Roundhouse boxcars are the perfect way to go. Well, last but not least, we've got the Illinois Central. This is 1990s era. So this is good for the 1990s into the 2000s. In Champaign here, we still see these occasionally. And I did forget one important one. That's the Oregon, California, and Eastern. And this has got a really cool paint scheme to it. So really nice deep color blue, really neat logo. I mean, even if you don't have any connection with this railroad, you might want to get this for your fleet. And again, Roundhouse models, they're perfect. They're entry level, or you can use them as a show stand-in. And something else you can do too is if you're one of those guys that likes to kit bash, they make a great starting point at an economical price. So like I said, you have until the end of this month to talk to your dealer and order these. And they're going to be here probably in about a year. So Roundhouse 50-foot plug door extended height boxcars. You've got till Friday the 30th to order those. Now the next thing that I want to share with you is it's both available in HO and N scale. And it's something you probably see every day. I'm going to show the N scale version, but keep in mind that these are available and I'm nearly identical in both HO and N scale. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Well, these are the, like I said, these are the N scale versions. The HOs are virtually identical other than their physical size. But these are the 40-foot parcel trailers. These are licensed by United Parcel Service. And you, like I said, you probably saw one of these today. If you were outside on the highways and byways of the United States, you probably saw one of these today. They're very common and they're perfect for your layout, whether you have an industrial area, maybe you have a UPS hub. Certainly you're going to see these on TOFC cars. So again, we've talked about it in the past. The trailers do a really good job of filling in some of those neat industrial areas on your layout. And, you know, they'll go great with some of your tractor trailers and some Athearn ones that we'll probably be coming out with a little bit later. Now, one more thing I wanted to talk about, because we didn't really talk about it too much at the beginning of the month. The surf liners, you know, you guys have been really excited about those, and we appreciate all the feedback we've been getting on the surf liners, but we really haven't talked about the MT4 much. And the MT4 is a steam locomotive, Southern Pacific prototype. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring that up because there's a lot to talk about with this model. Now, we're not just reissuing this model. Yes, we have had this model before, but it has been updated. It's got tsunami sound. That's one of the biggest improvements. It's got some other neat stuff. Let's go ahead and bring him up onto the screen. So we talked briefly about these at the beginning of the month. We had a lot of Genesis items this past month. Southern Pacific, they started really working these in the 1920s. And like we said, these lasted right up into the 50s. This was the very end of the steam era in this country. And really, it wasn't because they were not powerful locomotives. They certainly weren't weak. The biggest Achilles heel to the steam locomotive in general was maintenance. And while the diesel was not as powerful as a steam locomotive, the maintenance demands on a diesel were certainly less than they were from a steam locomotive's point. So these guys here, more considered a modern steam locomotive, they lasted right up into the 1950s. And they did everything from passenger to freight. We're offering these once again, but like I said, the biggest upgrade, Tsunami 2. We did not have Tsunami the first time we released these. Now you can see here, we're releasing a couple of different versions as well. We're doing a standard paint scheme boiler, and we're also doing the early green boiler scheme. It's a really cool variant of the MT4. Now, for you guys that like the streamliner look, the Southern Pacific MT4s with the Skyline casing really made a improvement on these locomotives. They did this for a couple of different reasons. Yes, it looks really cool, but it also helped divert the smoke. So it wasn't, especially in passenger service, you don't want all that smoke into your passenger cars. Streamlined it, certainly. And you got to remember, given the size of these drivers and such, these locomotives weren't going at 20 miles per hour. They were pretty much from California all the way to Illinois, Chicago. We're doing these in the standard black, but we're also doing these in the Southern Pacific Daylight. And these weren't really in this paint scheme for very long. So our researchers had to work some overtime on this one, but these are going to be really cool. You're going to want to, even if you have a passing interest in a steam locomotive, I think you're going to want to pick one of these up. Now, let me just go down through here and just show you some of the features these have. Not only does it have the Tsunami 2, but it also has the dual Sugar Cube speakers. You're going to have the upgraded LED lights, which you didn't have that before. And something that we're doing with all of our steam locomotives now, the locomotive engine and the tender connection, we're making that more robust and easier to plug in and unplug. In the past, it could get really, if you did it too many times, you would start to degrade the connection. Well, that's been improved now so that is not an issue, because we realize a lot of people don't just keep these on their home layout. They want to run them at shows. They want to run them at the club layout. We have a much better improved electrical pickup, and we've got some improved traction tire contacts. So these things are going to be great pullers. So again, you've got until Friday afternoon to pick these up. And I hate to say it, I mean, if you don't do your pre-order, you're going to be disappointed when you see these come out. They're really done some great work on these. And as far as steam locomotives go, you're not going to get anything more detailed than a Genesis steam locomotive, unless, even brass can sometimes pale in comparison. So we're really happy with those. And hopefully you'll get a chance to order one of these this week. All right, so I told you earlier too, we've got some news I wanted to talk about today. A couple of things. We're going to be at the St. Louis prototype meet this coming weekend, Friday and Saturday. So stop by the booth and say hi and let us know how we're doing. And if you've got an SD60M, you've probably been following along. Our developers have been working extremely hard to make an update for those SD60Ms so that they don't derail and the bearing caps don't remove themselves from the trucks. I'm happy to say that we're moving forward with that rather quickly. And I wanted to show something to you today. I have in the studio today the parts kit, one of the first parts kits that if you have an SD60M, you will be receiving. I'm going to go ahead and pan over to that picture. Here we have a Canadian Pacific SD60M, and we've got the repair kit. And as you can see, we've given you full color instructions. It tells you step-by-step how to fix the trucks. There's a little poly bag there that has the wheel bearing covers rather. And we've given you an assortment, so it doesn't matter what locomotive you have, whether it has black trucks, gray trucks, you're going to have an assortment in there. And then, of course, the truck covers or the gear covers. Now, we've also got included a small bottle of CA by Zap Industries. And it's a real easy fix. You've got like I said, these really detailed instructions our developers have put together. And we've also got a video that we'll be releasing showing you just how easy it is to fix this. So again, if you've got an SD60M and it's been giving you trouble in the curves, it's been derailing, and the bearing caps have been falling out, in the next few weeks, possibly days even, we're going to have a fix on our website. You can go to the website. You can get that. It's going to be a free upgrade kit. It will be sent to you. And it's a real easy fix. Trust me, folks. If I can do it, anybody can do it. In fact, this SD60M I just showed you has already been fixed. So Be on the lookout for that. We will be putting announcements on our Athearn webpage as well as social media. And like I said, the developers did a really great job doing the instruction sheets. They are step-by-step, full color, very easy to understand. And then we've also got a great video that our friend James over at Hybrid Hobby did for us as well. So be on the lookout for that. That's coming soon. Another piece of news too, before we go to a little bit of Q&A, is I will be on the Train World live feed tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern time. That would be about 5 o'clock Central. And we're going to be talking about something that, well, let's just say if you're an Amtrak fan, you're going to want to stay tuned for that. So that's going to be tonight on the Train World live feed. And we've got some exciting stuff coming out. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. So let's go ahead. I'm going to look down here and see what we've got for questions today. And if you've got any questions on what we've talked about so far today, or any questions about Athearn altogether, just shoot me a question in the comments here. I'm watching the comments, and I'll answer them for you. I can't promise I'll catch all of them, but I will catch as many as I can. So let's see who we've got. We've got a lot of great comments on people that are real happy about what we're coming out with. Joseph. We are going to have the August announcements, yes. And we're going to give you a sneak peek on some of those announcements tonight on the Train World Live. So I just gave you a big hint. But yeah, we will be doing the full August announcements on Friday. Now, it might be myself or it might be John and Janik. We'll see. We'll see if we can figure that out before then. But definitely, don't worry, we'll do August. But don't forget about July either. You want to still get those pre-orders in with your dealers. Let's see what else we've got here. Cole, I'm going to take your question here. Hey, Athearn, any suggestions to do a standard cab SD60s upgrade to the Genesis line with some both ditch lights and non-ditch light eras? Cole, that's a great question, and it's something that we've been tossing around. The SD60 that we currently have has been out for a number of years, and we're slowly looking through what we have, what we don't have, and upgrading what we do have and producing new things that we don't have. One of the reasons why we didn't have Train Tuesday last week is myself and some other folks, we were all together in a room and we had basically a brainstorming session, and it's based on the comments and suggestions that you've given us. We're going to be looking at the next few years, concentrating on products that specifically you've asked for. So keep an eye on our social media, keep an eye on our Facebook page, Instagram, and of course Train Tuesday for developments on that. But great question, Cole. Let's see. Joel saying an SD50 as well. Sure. Yeah, we can probably upgrade that as well. Jonathan, let's see if I can get you up here on the screen. Jim, what about a 45-ton switcher from Zaliff Brothers? It's a scrapyard outside of CN Vandy Water Yard on Queso and Windsor. Well, I mean, a 45-ton switcher itself, probably a possibility. Now, you've heard me say it before on the show. If you have anything that you're just dying to see Athearn produce, go over to our website and go to the Contact Us page, look for the product suggestions email, drop us a line. We are reading those emails. More importantly, I'm not reading the emails. The developers are reading the emails. Those are the guys you want to read those emails because they all get filtered in, and when we get enough requests for a certain type of locomotive or a certain type of paint scheme or a certain era of rolling stock, whatever it may be, chances are we're going to produce it because, again, we want to produce what you are willing to purchase. Okay, I got time for a few more questions here. Ricky's got a good suggestion. I'm going to put it up here. I'm a little biased. 2600 early air slide and original CB&Q everywhere west scheme. I'd be for it. Of course, most of you out there know I'm a big CB&Q fan, so let's see. Will the Roundhouse boxcars come with stirrup steps? Yeah, they are molded in. They're not going to be the metal ones like you see in the Genesis or some of the ready to roll. They are molded in. And then if you wanted to put in grab irons, they are molded in with the Roundhouse, but certainly if you're been modeling for any extended time, you can easily remove those and drill some number 80s and put some wire formed grab irons in there if you desire. Let's see what else we have in the questions area. Yes, I am excited about Amtrak stuff, and you'll see why later. Let me see who else we've got out there. There will be, Joseph, to answer your question, for Friday's announcement at 3:30. Yeah, there will be some Genesis items in the August. We typically have Genesis every month. Genesis is our best, one of our best selling lines, just because you guys love the detail. Robert, he's got a suggestion for us. MP15 AC or an MP15 DC. I take it Robert wants one of those. And yeah, we've offered the AC in the past, so it's possible we might see that again in the future. Let's see. Roundhouse is underappreciated, especially for Fremo. Yeah, you know, the reason why I bring that up is Fremo, N-Track, Fremo N, even T-Track, you know, some of those modular groups in both N and HO, let's face it, going to and from the show sometimes is as hazardous as small hands or, you know, setup crews. They can get damaged pretty easily. Many times I've lost a good locomotive or a good freight car right in the parking lot setting up at a train show. And the Roundhouse models give you the same effect, but at not the substantial cost. So for like Fremo, like you're talking about, or any modular type club situation, they're perfect for that. And another thing too is, as modelers, you know, we can tell a Genesis and ready to roll. We know where the grab irons are supposed to be. We know what the roof pattern should be. We know all those things. But when we're dealing with the general public, chances are they just want to see choo-choos. And so the Roundhouse is a good stand-in. It gives the public what they want to see, and it also helps you build a really nice, impressive train without breaking the bank. It also lets you keep those Genesis and ready to rolls on your layout. Got another request for the ACF 4460 covered hopper. We do see some people asking for that. So if you haven't yet, Daniel, go ahead and go to our product suggestion email and suggest that. Bradley says, we need more models done up in the Milwaukee Road. I can think of one guy on Athearn that would agree with that. Milwaukee Road did have some great paint schemes, really did. Let's see, what other comments do we have out there? We're getting a lot of requests for 44 tonners, or in this case, 70 tonners. Let's see. I got time for maybe one more. Let me see if you can give me a really good question. Corey's just giving us a reminder. Yes, the new announcements for whatever given month is always the last Friday of the month. Last Friday of the month, 3:30 Central Standard Time. Here's a good suggestion from Northern Ohio Rail Fanning Productions. He says, why not more SD45s? You got lots of paint jobs to pick from. Yeah, we do. That's a good suggestion. You know what I'm going to tell you. Take it to the product suggestion, because we are reading those. We do take your comments seriously. If you've got the time to send us an email, we've got the time to look at your suggestions. And I think a lot of you out there in the last 6 months that have been using that email, I think you're going to be happy in the next coming months. All right. Let me see. I've got looking for one more to end the show with. Cole, that's a good suggestion on the SD50s. I already chose you earlier, so I'm gonna go with Joseph. Joseph says AC 4400s might be Union Pacific, Southern Pacific versions. You'll have to see. Again, we go by your suggestions, so you're not going to see what I want or what the developers want. We're going to go with what you guys want. So, got a few more minutes before we close this Train Tuesday. A couple of reminders. Like I said, St. Louis RPM meet. If you do know about it and you're planning on going, stop by the Athearn booth and give us a conversation. Let us know how we're doing. Be good to see a lot of you in person. Another thing too is we've got a survey going out this evening, and this is one of those surveys where we want to hear from you. We want to hear what road name you want on a specific locomotive. So if you're on Facebook, be looking for that survey and take a little bit of time and put that in there, because that's going to dictate what we're going to do for our future releases. We want to hear more from you. We want to hear more from our audience. Also this Friday, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, we will be talking about the August releases. And then before then, I'm going to be live on Train World talking about some exciting Amtrak products that are coming from Athearn. So until next week, I want to thank you all for coming on board and sharing this time with me. Don't forget to go to your dealer and make those pre-orders. The Surfliners, if you do not pre-order, I have a feeling that you're probably going to get left behind at the station. So they are probably one of the most anticipated releases we've had this year. So get down to your dealers, order what you need for the July packet. It's hard to believe July is almost over, and get those orders in. Until I see you again, I want everybody out there to be happy, be healthy, do some modeling, and high greens, everybody. Take care.